Boys, we got a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about Marvel Rivals X-Men leaks. You heard me correctly, X-Men leaks. Now, I eventually am going to make an updated video on all the leaked characters coming to Marvel Rivals because it's hot. But for now, we're going to be talking about some big news that was just dropped, which is going to be the 5 new X-Men characters that are coming to Marvel Rivals. Now, I should preface by saying this was initially talked about and posted all over the internet, and then it was revealed that, hey, developers are playing us, they're releasing fake characters that they are not planning on putting in the game, that, you know, blah 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 blah, they're playing us. So that was a thing, and then a bunch of legit data miners came out and were like, okay, yeah, it's not confirmed, obviously, that these people are going to be in the game. However, it's extremely unlikely that we're pulling these and we're data mining and we're finding the files for character names, we're finding models, we're finding ability names, we're finding all these things that they would put in the game just to throw us off. They basically said rather it's much more likely that these are in the, yeah, they're not confirmed for sure, and they could be throwing us off, but it's very unlikely that they're doing that considering how much effort is going into these characters. With that being said, we are, for the purposes of this video, going to take it, run with it, and fantasize that these characters are going to be coming to the game because they are good ones. So getting straight into it, I know you're dying to know, this video's coming out late, you probably already do know. But the characters that are rumored of these X-Men are going to be Beast, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Jubilee. So basically 5 of the core most popular X-Men that everyone knows, and some really good ones. God, I'm pumped if this is real. This game, man. But with that, here's what we know. Beast is unknown, but let's be real, it's Beast. He's most likely going to be a tank. It would be interesting to have him as a duelist, and I don't really think you could pull him off as a strategist, but he's most likely going to be a tank. Gambit is confirmed to be a duelist. Nightcrawler is confirmed to be a duelist. Jubilee is also unknown. A lot of people think she's going to be a strategist, but here's where it throws me off, is that Rogue is a strategist. And I say that throws me off because it makes all the sense in the world, but at the same time, a lot of people were up in arms about this, considering the fact that that is just not like Rogue's character. Rogue is a strong, beefy tank character. Like, she goes in and she just mink, 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 she deals damage. So a lot of people were saying, why would you not give us Rogue as a tank? Then a lot of other people brought up the case that, you know, sure, they didn't put her as a tank, and that sucks. But, and I don't know if the developers are doing this on purpose, it is also a case of, you know, it's the same as Invisible Woman. It's a case of if you put Rogue at strategist, which they are, a lot of people like Rogue and a lot of people are going to want to learn strategist. So overall, it is kind of just good for the game. However, it is kind of a missed opportunity to have her as a Vanguard. But again, it's kind of just good for the game, and you could still have her be kind of a Adam Warlock or an Invisible Woman or a DPS style strategist where you can run triple heal with Rogue, who's dealing a little bit more damage than he, I think. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get into character details. Now, I will preface by saying we don't know much, but we do have little itty bitty things. For example, Gambit, obviously, like I said, he's going to be a duelist, and some of the names of abilities have been leaked. And again, I should preface by saying these are data mined. These are, you know, taken straight from files. So a lot of these are also translated, and they might just be kind of a rough draft of a name, but do with them what you will. So for example, for Gambit's ability set, we have Kinetic Energy Card, Energy Accumulation, Node Card Array Projection, and Node Card Array Recycling. Again, there's not really much to go off of there. Obviously, his cards are going to be an extremely important part of his kit, but overall, I just want to talk about a few of these guys because they're so cool, and Gambit is top of the list. I mean, he's realistically because of Deadpool and Wolverine, but before that he was definitely a beloved character. Some people hate him, but definitely a really cool character, really cool aesthetic, really cool powers, just an amazing character, and a character that you could argue was meant for a game like this, with his staff, with his powers, with his cards, with his skins that are possible. Gambit needs to be in this game, so I'm really happy to see him on this. Moving on, we have Jubilee. Like I said, her class is unknown at this point, but a lot of people seem to think that she is going to be a strategist, which I kind of agree with it. I feel like it makes the most sense. I feel like putting her as a duelist would be, you know, so, but we shall see. As of now, we do have some ability names, which are Fireworks, Atomic Bomb, okay, and Atomic Bomb Excitation. Again, do with that what you will, but based off those, it kind of makes you think that she would be a duelist. Kind of a missed opportunity. I think she should be a strategist because I think she's also just as popular, and she could be put in a strategist category to where she can, you know, still be fun to play and be a character that people want to do and still kind of do damage. So honestly, I think she should be a strategist, but I can also see her getting away with being a duelist. But we just don't need more duelists, man. It's kind of like making Mr. Fantastic a duelist. Granted, he is a tank, let's be real, but you could have just made him a tank, you know? So we'll see, but cool to see her on the list. Next up, if Gambit's not the one I'm most excited for, it's this brother. The fact that Nightcrawler is on this list is so gas. He is such a good character. I'm so excited to see him, especially as a duelist, bro. With that said, his abilities are foil style, EP style, EPEE, I don't know how that's pronounced, but EP style, and phase shift. So the only thing that scares me about this is phase shift is obviously some sort of teleportation ability, but just based off the words used, I don't think it's actual teleportation. It seems to be more like a magic-esque teleportation. Again, we only have the names of the abilities to go off of, but for me, that name, phase shift, kind of gives off the vibe of like phase shift over here. You know what I mean? You're not really teleporting in a sense, but still really cool to see him. I'm excited that he's going to be in the game, especially as a duelist. I want to learn him so bad. This is why this game is so great, right? Because just saying this builds so much hype for me, and it's so good. It's so good. And these are the kind of characters that aren't in enough games, not to mention a shooter game, a 6v6 hero shooter. Like, super awesome to see him on the list. If you can't tell, I'm stoked. Like I said earlier, we also have Rogue. Now, her abilities as a strategist are ability to draw, ability acquisition, skill 1, skill 2, and skill 3. So quite literally nothing. We know nothing. Based off that, though, we can kind of infer ability acquisition, Rogue. I mean, to me, that sounds like you're taking someone's abilities. You're acquiring someone else's abilities. And the fact that it says 1, 2, and 3, if this is a thing of you can acquire 3 different abilities from 3 different people, or maybe it's whatever the case, that is insane. And especially as a strategist, I'm interested to see what they do with her, because if it is a matter of I can acquire Black Panther's abilities, I can acquire Magic's abilities, I can acquire Magneto's abilities, whatever the case may be, I'm interested to see how a character like this works. And again, this is why I love this game. It is so good. Am I glazing? It's just insanely unique. These are comic book characters that have existed for so long and are in and of themselves insanely unique. Rogue is an insanely unique character. So to take someone like her, and it's kind of the same thing. Before the game, I was like, how's Cloak and Dagger gonna work? How is this gonna work? How's Wolverine gonna work? But they've found a way to make every single character work really well. So I'm interested to see how you make Rogue work as a strategist. How does she take powers? What powers does she take? How does she heal? All of these things. So just announcing this is so cool, and it's so unique, and I'm really interested to see what they do with her. And finally, we have Beast. Again, class unknown, but he's most likely going to be a Vanguard. Come on. And the abilities are going to be Dexterity, Field Experiment, and Intelligence Analysis. Now, again, this is a guy who honestly could be anything because he's Beast. He's supposed to be bigger and beefier and tankier. So off your dome, it's like, oh, he's going to be a tank. But it's like, is he? He could definitely get away with being DPS. I mean, you could just make him, Dexterity. He's a more dexterous monster guy. He's more dexterous strong guy. You know what I mean? He's not quite as strong and big as your Hulks or your things. But, you know, they made Doctor Strange a tank. You can get away with pulling him in as a tank. He can get away with being a duelist, being a little, you know, smaller, a little less damage, a little more dexterous. Kind of a Wolverine-esque guy. And that's something that I think is cool about this game too. A class is not just a class. It's not like, oh, that person's a healer. Sure, it is for some, but Beast, you could put him as a DPS and he could be a Wolverine who's a tanky DPS. You know what I mean? Really cool. But he could also be a strategist in the sense that he is that beefier guy, but he's also a nerd. I mean, he's a smart guy. He could be a guy who just heals, you know what I mean? So overall, there are the X-Men that are going to be added to the game. And let me know what you guys think. If you couldn't tell, I like it. I'm freaking excited to have all 5 of these. These are just, I love these characters. I want to play them so bad, especially Gambit, especially Nightcrawler, especially Rogue. I'm super excited. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you excited for these characters? Do you not want them to add any of these characters? Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to follow these socials, the Instagram, the TikTok. Join the Discord so you know when these videos go live. Link is in the bio. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.